If you haven't met Jose Peñalosa, you got to meet him today. He is actually on the ballot. He's going to show up as an independent because we have – and I really think that one day we can win you over to a more conservative thing. But if you were to go on that ballot as a Republican or as a conservative, you're just dead meat. You're out of here. So you're an independent. And Jose is – ladies and gentlemen, this is the real deal. With a name like Peñalosa, no, he was not born in Sweden. He was his family does not come from there. You're actually an immigration attorney.
That is correct. Good morning, Barry. That is correct.
And you're not toting the Nancy Pelosi line unless
Absolutely
you've changed
not.
in the last few days. You're not toting that line.
I never have and I never will. I toe my line. I'm independent, and I like to work together with folks to bring practical solutions to real problems that we have in our community, in our state, and our nation. And that's what I'm about. And that's my life work as an attorney in bringing results, irrespective of party affiliation, and putting my independent voice there.
Well, let me ask you the tough questions now, because here in the last few days before the election, you've got all the usual suspects. You've got Pelosi and Reid and Hillary is out, and they're campaigning like crazy, and they're saying they know that they're not going to take the House back. We know they're not going to take the House. But they're warning that I know you're not running for Senate. You're in the 7th District. But they're warning that if Republicans, or let's just say in your case, non-Democrats, get control of the entire Congress, then everything is going to come to a dead, grinding halt, and the nation will be in a sort of, purgatory paralysis for the next 2 years. So if somebody hands you that on the table and they say, here, counter that, I don't even know if you should counter it. What are you going to say about it?
Well, I think we just need to go back like 15, 16 years during the Clinton administration and his second term and his last 2 years in office. The Republicans controlled the House, if I remember, and the Senate, and President Clinton, obviously chief executive officer, and we got things done because what happens is that at that point, they know the controlling party and the executive have to work together for the best interest of the nation. And that could be a possibility here. And this is an opportunity for both to step up and to get this done. And having somebody that's an independent and other independents in the Congress and the Senate can really push that agenda. And that's what needs to get done because the American people are fed up with politics as usual. I hear that in the community, Barry, from Democrats, Republicans, and independents. We're walking neighborhoods in CD7, and that's what folks are telling us.
We've got a poll out today. I don't know if you heard this. Got a poll out today from CNN. No friend to independents, no friend to conservatives, no friend to Republicans. CNN says that the measurement today overall shows that 68% of the American people are ticked off. I mean, they're generally angry. It's divided into two groups. 30% is extremely angry, and 38% are pretty angry, but that adds up to some really big numbers here as we go into the election. So with that said, I'm sure you're hearing the discord, discomfort, and anger.
That's absolutely correct. And when we walk neighborhoods, we talk to all three major parties, independents, Democrats, and Republicans. The Republicans are telling us, look, our voice is going to be heard. You're an independent candidate. At least we have some commonality with you, and you're willing to talk to us, and you're going to represent us.
But are you? That's my question. Are you hearing this? That district down there is a very Democratic district and very pro-Obama district. Are you
Not
hearing
necessarily.
that from these people?
We have to look at it this way. The numbers are this: 43% Democrat, 40% independent, and about 16% Republican, and about 1% compromise is the Green Party, the Libertarian folks. So that is the belief in that particular district, but you got to look at the numbers. The numbers say otherwise. And so the friends on the Democratic side, the folks that I talk to, are upset with the president and the Latino community not delivering on reform, the misrepresentations that he has done for 6.5 years. And a lot of them tell me they don't want to vote. They're not excited to vote. Those that want to vote are really excited to come out and vote and say, look, we have somebody that's an independent that's going to represent our community and the values that we want. My friends on the independent side said, look, we're going to have somebody that's independent and that's going to hear us and represent us. The Republicans are flaming mad and they're ready to come out. They're excited about the governor election, attorney general, secretary of state, and they have a reason to come out and vote. So the real numbers as of last Thursday, Barry, in CD7, about 27,000 people have submitted their Pebble ballot. Democrats. About 6,000 are Republicans, and about 7,000 folks are independents. And those are the numbers out of CD7 that we received last Thursday at the end of the day. Now, so the numbers have fluctuated.
You really feel that CD7's in play at this point. This is not a done deal for the financially troubled Arizona Republic. Picked Gallego at the beginning, and so did its television
They have yet
station.
to endorse him, ironically.
Well,
they interviewed him.
Isn't that fascinating?
They have not endorsed him. They did say that he was too immature for this position when they made their endorsement of Mary Rose Wilcox back in August. Since then, they have not bothered to interview me at all, despite I picked up the endorsements of Senator McCain, Congressional Representative Paul Gosar, Matt Salmon, and Trent Franks. On the Democratic side, I picked up the endorsement of Catherine Miranda and Lydia Hernandez. And recently, just yesterday, on Sunday, I was in church with Reverend Stewart, and he also supports me.
This is the
so
Reverend.
We have a broad coalition of folks out there.
This is Warren Stewart.
That
Reverend
is
Warren
correct,
Stewart.
Pastor Stewart.
Those of you who don't know, if you don't recall, this goes back to the old days in Arizona when we couldn't figure out if we needed a Martin Luther King holiday. And it was Reverend Stewart who led the sane, what would I call this, very thoughtful process. Instead of getting out in the streets and going crazy, he led the very thoughtful process to explain why Arizona needed to get on the bandwagon and become the 50th state to have, recognize the holiday. So he has been a quiet, moving force in this community. And you picked up his endorsement.
That is correct. We were in his church on Sunday, along with Michelle Reagan was present and Senator Leah Taylor Landrum, and we enjoyed the service. And after we met with him, and so we're very grateful for that because he knows I have a heart and affinity for the community and what I represent, the values of that community, and not Mr. Gallego.
All right, hold on for a second. I got to pause for a moment, and then we have to talk about all the stories that are out. I believe everything I'm reading that the president is going to, with a stroke of the pen. I don't know to what extent, but it looks like at hundreds of thousands, and maybe we're touching into the millions of people that'll be granted some degree of amnesty. We don't know what he's going to do, but it doesn't look right. It looks like a violation of separation of powers at the very least. So then what do you do, and what can you do, and how do you feel about this? We'll get to all of that in just a minute. Jose Peñalosa on KFYI in that District 7. Very difficult district for anybody who is, not touting a certain political philosophy. And, it's been portrayed in the media as being sort of an open door amnesty policy. If you don't get down there and say that, then a lot of people are saying, well, you can't win. You think you can? I said I was going to break. I'm just going to ask you this.
Sure.
Can you win without espousing an amnesty philosophy there?
Absolutely, because what you're talking about is not an amnesty policy. It's a temporary policy. It's called deferred action. This is the policy that all presidents, quite frankly, since Eisenhower up until President Obama, have exercised it as it relates to immigration law. Most recently, President Bush did that in the 1990s. He granted what was known as family unity, and that was an offshoot from Reagan's amnesty program that allowed folks that had waited more than 2 years for a visa to come to the United States lawfully, or those folks that were in here unlawfully to have a visa and stay here. And eventually the Congress, Republican Congress, along with President Clinton in 1995, enacted that into law in what is known today as a family unity program, right. Statutory law.
Hold on. I'm going to let you explain how this thing works in a second. It's KFYI. Stay right where you are. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 8:25 and 1 week from General Election Day. All right, District. I tell you one thing. I'm kind of seeing the light here. Jose Peñalosa is an independent candidate in District 7, running in what everybody views as a heavily Democratic district. You've sort of opened my eyes on something. What is the breakdown in vote registration in that district again?
Voter registration is as follows: 43% Democrat, 40% Independent, about 16% Republican, and 1% Libertarian Green Party. So contrary to the perception the media has portrayed and the Democratic Party has portrayed, those are the real numbers in the community. What happens is that our friends in the Republican Party and our friends from the independents, like myself, really have actually not come out to vote because it's always just been a Democratic candidate, and it's been sold that way throughout the last 20 years and with the slate of candidates that run. And now there's somebody different, that's myself, bringing in another option to the community and hopefully to make that connection with the Republican voters, my friends in the independents, and my friends on the Democratic side, because I need all three to win, because I'm going to represent all three major parties, not just one.
The thing that's so encouraging for me is that I don't believe you're going to go up there and carry the Nancy Pelosi tune, because, this is the problem that we've had with a couple of these characters who spent their first 2 years. Kristen Sinema is one of them. Ron Barber in Tucson is another. You go up there and, House leadership calls you in and basically says, all right, you're here. Here's your office. Go shut up, and we'll tell you when to introduce a bill and all of that. And you don't have that weight hanging around your shoulders.
Exactly, and I think that's part of it. Part of it, this is Barry, is that I've been self-employed for 20-something years as an attorney. I'm independent in my business, independent in my thinking, and that's the way that I'll go to Congress. I'm 52 years old. I have no business carrying anybody's line. I'm there to get the job done, and when I have an agreement with my friends on the Democratic side, I will. On the Republican side, I will. I'm there to get the job done in the best interest of this nation and this state.
And you specialized in immigration law.
That is correct. I practice immigration law.
Well, see, this is an interesting little extra gift you bring to the table. So when they get in there and they get bogged down, I mean, we got a voice. We can have a voice in the House of Representatives. You can say, wait a second. How long have you been practicing immigration law?
24 years.
Okay, well, that's a tad. That's a little sliver of experience that you can bring to the table. You talk about the real problems that you've seen as an attorney. And you talk about the real problems that I think we're going to see from the Obama White House post-election with whatever he's going to do with his executive order. Plus, you're an attorney, so you know the Constitution, the limits of the law, the limits of the respective powers of the three branches of government. What's
Correct.
not to like here? So, ladies and gentlemen, you got a week to go, and that's an interesting district in District 7. And after you and I met the first time, I decided to check you out and find out, because you said nobody's really, like the media in town, have not really focused in and given you like a profile. Correct. And darned if you're not one lawyer telling the truth here. I can't find those stories that should be, one man out of many, one man's fight in a district that they say he can't win, one guy against the machine. Where are all those articles? I can't find them.
I don't know. And ironically, we had a debate about 3 weeks ago on Horizon Channel 8. Normally, the Arizona Republic and their writers appear there. Not one appeared, and there hasn't been one comment or video posted on their website regarding that or anything like that. But if one objectively looks at that, and the debate I had with Mr. Cobb, who's a Libertarian candidate, and Mr. Gallego, really clearly, objectively see the differences in the level of maturity, the experience, and the knowledge that I have versus Mr. Gallego.
Yeah,
He is just a Democratic candidate propped up there with absolutely zero experience, and his agenda is to support Planned Parenthood and toe the line of Nancy Pelosi.
And he is an endorsed Planned Parenthood candidate.
That is correct. Yeah. Myself, I'm endorsed by the National Right to Life. I believe in family. I believe in values, the dignity of life. And that's why I believe in immigration and the legal way to get this job done to protect the interests of this nation.
I believe if we go, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because you would be more familiar with what in the broadcast industry we call high-density neighborhoods. Because radio stations want to aim their audience at certain groups of people, and that's how you make money these days. But in a high-density neighborhood that's very high-density Hispanic, I just don't accept the idea that they are Planned Parenthood people. It seems to me that Hispanic people have the babies. Many of them are Catholic. Many of them are conservative in all kinds of social values. And I don't understand why these candidates that are like endorsed by Planned Parenthood resonate with these folks. I can't understand it.
They don't really. What happens is that we have the cover, and that cover that obscures everything is immigration. And that's the first thing that affects the Latino family, and their judgment with regard to their political relationship is based upon that curtain that's there. And once we take that curtain away, then people can be objective about where their values really are. But the values of the community are family, pro-life, religion, and, of course, having part of that is to have their families together through immigration reform. And when I go to the communities and I meet with people, that's what they tell me. And I see their Catholic signs outside. I see the crosses outside. And we talk as folks of value and a religion, and we make that particular connection.
All right. Now, for those who want to get to your website, very quickly, give a shameless plug on the website. And if you folks want to send him $5 or 10 or 15 or whatever you want to send him, I'm sure he'll take it for the campaign. So what's the website?
Thank you, Barry. It's Peñalosa. It's spelled P as in Paul, E as in Edward, NALOSA, 4AZ. .com, and my name is Jose Peñalosa. I'm the independent candidate in CD7, and I trust that my friends, the listening here, the independents, Republicans, and even Democrats, as I canvass through the community, Barry, people have told me they heard me on your show 3-4 weeks ago, coming to their doors. So you really touch a lot of people throughout the community, and I need to earn those votes. I need to have them come out and vote.
All right. Go get them, Jose.
Thank you
so much for coming on the air today.